Good morning. Wait, it's not morning. It's Tuesday, 11:40. The sun is shining. I am feeling good. I am feeling very, very grateful. And it's crazy. And I wanted to quickly touch on being grateful because this is actually something I wasn't meant to speak about. I got my diary just here. I had a list of videos I wanted to talk about. And this wasn't one of them. But the state that I'm feeling right now of just being super grateful, it's just very important because when you are grateful, it teaches you to be in the present. It helps you realize what you have and what can be taken. And the reason I say this is because being an ambitious person, I think we're just so focused on this next thing that we want, how we're going to achieve it, which is a good thing. It gives us a marker, somewhere for us to work towards. But what ends up happening is when you don't practice gratitude, you are never present because you're constantly validating yourself with the result and you're just thinking, how am I going to get this? Or how? That you forget to live. That all you're doing is you're just in this next timeline which creates frustrations, which creates anxiety, and you don't ever enjoy life. Ever since I started to realize that whenever you're grateful, you are here in this moment. I'm grateful for the phone that I have to record this video. I'm grateful for being able to see. I'm grateful for being able to speak. And it's crazy that something so simple and seeing it from that way changes a lot of things. Why? Because it just comes from a perspective that you have, and now what you want is builded and added onto it, as I mentioned before. The secret is a process. The secret is loving the process. The reason you get that frustration, the reason we get senses of times that we want to give up, whenever we feel that it seems so far away, is because you're comparing yourself or you're getting that frustration of something that you don't have yet. And that's okay, because you can't control an outcome. But what you can control is you can control the actions that will give you that result. And once you learn to love every action that you take that's going to get you closer to that result, then that's how you actually never end up quitting. Because you just have to ask yourself, did I end up doing the things that I wanted to do? And this leads on to a subject I wanted to talk about is when you have a bad day, when you have a bad week, when you have a bad year, when you have a bad moment, that doesn't mean you have a bad life. It's a chapter of your life. And that chapter, most of the time, it builds you. And that chapter is what is going to create the person that you need. I used to view problems as problems. I used to view problems like, why does this keep on happening to me? Why can't I just have an easy, simple life? Why can't I live like these other people? And the reason I say this is exactly 5 years ago, I left everything back home in London. I finally got the job that I wanted. I moved into a studio apartment to start saving money. Like everything on paper seemed like it was going well. Pandemic happened, I left everything. And I came all the way to Spain. Started from zero all over again. I didn't know anyone. I just had my parents over here and I had maybe 1 or 2 friends. And at that moment, I reached the lowest point of my life. I reached a point where I was okay with the thought of not being alive. And it wasn't in terms of suicidal. Like at no point I felt suicidal, but I just felt sorry for myself. And then I realized that when you feel sorry for yourself, it makes you feel better. But the second you put the blame that you are not doing anything, it doesn't matter how you feel, but what have you actually done? This is where you now have to create an alliance with yourself and recognize that you are more important than those emotions. And then look, what have you actually done? Because what you say you want to do and what you actually do are two very different things. And then I looked and I wasn't doing anything. The reason I mentioned this is because in that moment, it seems that these problems are trying to break you, but they are in fact trying to make you. We ask for patience, then we have all of these stresses and problems thrown onto us. But that very problem, that very obstacle is the solution. The second you run into it, you realize that actually I can hold on to this. I have proved to myself that I can. You have now gained patience. Whenever you ask for strength and you get these problems that you fully like you can't handle, but you end up handling it, guess what? Your stress threshold has now gone up. You have now become strong. And once you realize that problems are actually opportunities for you to grow from, because once you've grown, that problem will no longer be a problem because now you have overcome it and now you have grown. This is why a shift in perspective changes everything, and now you see problems as opportunities. I see everything as everything happening for a reason. I see everything as it being a test. Call me delusional, call me whatever you want, but it's helped me get to the place that I am today because it never stops me. This mindset just keeps me going. This is why I will never stop, because everything is happening for me. Because this is a chapter in my life I haven't overcome. And in that moment, it seems like the worst thing ever. It seems like you'll never get out of it. But you're just zoomed in into one episode. But imagine you zoom out and you realize, actually, there's 100 episodes. It's like a graph. Everything in life goes up and down. But when you're zooming into that section, it seems like everything is going down. But when you zoom out, it's a down for it to go up. Everything has its ups and downs. Don't let that moment affect the rest of your life, because look, that moment doesn't dictate the rest of your life, but what you do in that moment will, because that emotion, it fluctuates. One moment you feel happy, the next you feel sad, but what you do is going to dictate the rest of your life. So if you let that emotion of sadness dictate your actions, that's when you lose. That's why I tell you, the answer to life is to make sure that you keep your emotions on a neutral. Never let a win get to your head, and never let a loss get to your heart. Because what ends up happening, when something very good happens, we get overly excited, and then what ends up happening, we start acting based on our emotions. Whenever something goes very bad, we get super sad and we start acting based on our emotions. This is when everything starts to go wrong, when we start to act based on our emotions rather than following the plan and doing what we have to do. Something went well, great, it can get worse. Something went bad, great, it can get better. This is where you keep that constant and you keep on taking action. The secret is to keep on taking action, the art of the compound effect. Because in these moments, let me tell you, sometimes you try to work things out and base things on logic, but some things do not have logic. And let me explain to you why some things don't have logic. When you're feeling low in a low frequency state, upset, feeling negative, everything around you seems negative. It doesn't seem like there's a way out. But the same way you drive a car at night and you have headlights and you just see it around 10 meters, you still drive, even though you don't see the 100 meters ahead of you. Because guess what? The path illuminates as you walk it. As you go 10 meters, you see another 10 meters and another 10 meters and another 10 meters. Your goal is just to focus at 10 meters. I'm going to give you a personal example when I started creating content. When I started creating content, I can't dictate when a video is going to go viral. I can't dictate when someone's going to like my comment, when someone's going to like my post. I can't dictate who's going to send me a message. I can't dictate what brands are going to contact me. But what I can control is taking the action, which is why I will always tell you guys, validate yourself with the action that gets a result. This is in your control. And never validate yourself with the result, because that's when you get those senses of frustration, of the senses that I don't have this, the senses of oh, I'm not good enough, and then that starts affecting your feelings, and if your feelings start affecting your actions, and those actions then in turn end up not letting you get that result. Remember, that result is a trophy based on actions. So always validate yourself with the result and with the action. That's why I tell you guys, focus on the action. And once you learn this, this is when you will become successful in any endeavor. And the reason I tell you this is because when I was creating content for 4 years, I was consistently posting content, and I was like, why don't I have the 1,000 followers yet? Why don't I have 100,000 followers yet? This I can't control. But then after 4 years, after studying content, and after consistently posting, I hit my first viral video. Then I started to learn from this. I continued, and then from one video alone, I managed to get over 21 million views and over 98,000 followers. Now every single month, I hit consistently 30 million views and average around 10 to 15,000 followers every single month. Is that in my control? No, but making sure that I post consistently is in my control. Making sure that I learn from what is working is in my control. This is what I learned from those 4 years. I could have said those 4 years, oh, they're breaking me, like I'm not seeing any results. That taught me the art of perseverance. So whenever something isn't going my way, I remember, focus on what I have to do, and I end up doing it. And that's why I will always win, because I will never fail, because failing is an option for you to choose. Failure is an option you choose to not continue, and I choose to continue every single time. Right now I'm chilling here. I don't even know why I'm chilling here, but yeah, I just grabbed my phone and I wanted to share this message with you guys. So the key is, don't let a bad moment dictate your life, because it doesn't. A bad moment doesn't dictate a bad life, but the actions that you decide create the life that you want. So if you look at your life, if you don't like it, look at your habits, look at your thoughts, because everything stems from your thoughts, from your feelings to an action. Love you guys. If you made it this far, put down in the comments what you took from this video. If you have any questions, send me a DM on @Sunewar_. And if you need help with anything, drop me a message. I'll see if I can help you on Instagram. Let's get to work. Let's go.